Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another movie reaction. Got a bit of a mad one again this week. This is the Wicker Man, not the Nicolas Cage version, the 1973 version, yeah? Now, I haven't seen either Wicker Man, and as I was going down my little Nicolas Cage weird movies rabbit hole, I thought, oh yeah, the Wicker Man. The only thing about it is, I think it's like such a popular film, it's one of these ones that even if you haven't seen it, you know what it's about, and even the punchline due to the memeability of the Nicolas Cage version, not the bees, etc. I've seen all that shit. I've seen him spin kick a woman. I mean, who hasn't? All you need to do is follow him around. Generally for a few hours, he'll bust out a spinning back kick to the nearest female. If anything, it's abhorrent and he needs to be stopped. All joking aside, you know, so I've seen a few things about the Nicolas Cage Wicker Man, so I thought, if I am gonna react to that one, why not take it back to the source material first, and then if I do react to the Nicolas Cage one, I can see the changes they made for better or worse, etc. Plus, this is a very famous British film, it's always one I've wanted to see, and intrinsically the setup is just like a Tales from the Crypt episode, kinda, or a Twilight Zone episode. It's a very simple premise, it gets you intrigued, and then what goes on from there is like, you know, the revelation of the mystery. But essentially it's like a small detective goes to a small British island where there's been a disappeared girl, and what happens from there, basically. So, without further ado, this is The Wicker Man from 1973. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. Interesting opening shot there. So my initial prediction is that it's going to be like a cult who worship a tree god, just from that one picture. Get your own book, you fucking spying bitch. The other thing I love about this era is there will be nothing impractical seen on screen. Everything is a set, if not a real location, and all the actors were actually there.
Took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and said, "Take."
Speaking of broken, what about your speech pattern, bro? You would give William Shatner in the original Star Trek a run for his money. Construct a sentence, follow it through to the full stop, give it a try.
"And drink this wine, you do show the Lord's death till he comes again."
Is this guy meant to be Scottish? This is a bygone era Scottish accent I have never heard in my fucking life. For real. Why does Edward Woodward have 4 D's in his name? Because Ewa Woowa would sound pretty dumb. Ingrid Pitt. That could be Brad Pitt's grandmother for all we know. And of course, Christopher Lee is in this movie. You gotta love a film that shows the entire cast and crew credits in the intro to the film. Another thing that was done more back in the day. Then they were like, you know what if we put this at the end so no one ever watches it? That is a good idea. Fuck the crew. I've got a key grip for you. Prop supervise these nuts. The entire tone of this film does scream 70s. I'm getting into films from different eras as I get older, but I can understand why some people don't like black and white. I can understand why some people don't like the 60s and 70s type film grainy sort of thing. Me personally, I find it interesting now because it is genuinely a time capsule, you know, of a bygone era, before Twitter, before the internet, before all that shit. And to be honest, that's probably the first time that town below that aeroplane had ever seen one. They were probably throwing axes up at it.
Will you send a dinghy, please?
Nice, this guy is straight up Scottish. It's a weird Scottish accent. It's like sort of that Scottish trying to be not Scottish accent. The same one Sean Connery had in like the James Bond movies.
You can't land here without written permission.
Bunch of unfriendly guys, not even letting him dock. Wow. It's like North Sentinel Island. Not gonna lie, some of the music cues are really, really strange thus far. Wonder if that eye is symbolic. Everyone is watching him. Which they would be.
Good day to you, sir. I'm the harbour master.
Sergeant Howie, West Highland Police.
I didn't even clock that this was a Scottish film, you know. I haven't chose this because this is Scottish. This is just a happy accident.
No, I've never seen her before. She doesn't belong to this island.
Now, they were all convincing up until Cofton Eye Guy. He gave the game right away. I mean, he didn't even say, like, I've never seen her before. Just, she has never been anywhere near this fucking place, officer.
The mother's name is May Morrison.
Oh, May! She quite slipped my memory. Of course we've got May.
These guys are such foolish shit. Maybe I've just been watching too much Wire. But if I was that cop, I would instantly be like, okay, this is the right place. You're all under fucking arrest and suspicion alone. Again, Jesus Christ, I know this was the swinging 60s and 70s and shit, but does this music really fit the tone of a missing child movie? I mean, alright, let's all smoke weed and put flowers in guns, but then we've got a child to find. This shit does look like Scottish town streets though, I can't lie. To this day, Scottish town streets look like this shit with a bit more updated signage outside the shops. Bit of hint towards some devil worshippery there, I would say. There's quite a lot of goats and demon related things going on right there.
Did you come over in that aeroplane that I saw flying round?
Aye, that's right.
What? Just to see me?
May's fucking in on it. Don't give us your shit, but I'll have a lollipop. But don't give me your shit.
And that's her.
Never. I tell you no.
So what the fuck is... Okay, instantly, this has got to be a cover-up that everybody is in on. Surely. This is the only way this makes sense right now. She, herself, the mother, has to be in on this shit.
Hey, Mark. You could fill the years in grey.
What if he's shit at painting? That's giving a lot of trust to the guy.
Do you think she'll be coming back for tea?
Tea? Hares don't have tea, silly.
Ah, right, so there's a rabbit called Rowan. Did she tell the daughter that her sister had turned into a rabbit? I am so fucking confused. In a good way, I like a mystery. Green Man in. So do these guys still worship the Green Man? Because that was the religion of Great Britain before the Romans got hold of us. We worshipped nature, essentially. The Green Man was a representation in nature. There's still like a Green Man festival and shit like that in Britain.
Are you the landlord here?
Aye, I'm Alden McGregor. And you must be the policeman from the mainland.
Aye, that's right.
Okay, this is the most suspect guy I have seen in this film yet. I would punch him in the face just because of the stare he just gave that guy. This is a bit of a banger, but also a bit strange to be singing about her in front of her face. The landlord seems completely happy with them singing about his daughter though.
That lies between her left toe and her right toe.
Are they now singing about her vagina? This poor objectified woman that does not give a fuck about being objectified.
Why don't you have a wee drink?
No, thank you, not just now.
Don't drink a single fucking thing out of this guy's taps, mate.
Her name is Rowan Morrison. Would you pass that among your customers, please?
I've got a feeling they all know what's happened to her. Not gonna lie though, they do get some banging produce. That shit looks tasty. The finest fruit and vegetables you'll ever see. Ha. I've got a feeling that girl was in that picture that has been removed from the wall.
One taken at the end of every summer.
What happened to last year's?
It got broke.
So every year did they sacrifice one of the girls to get a good harvest or some weird shit? This has got my detective brain working overdrive.
Just wanted to know why, that's all.
Now, I wonder what you'll be wanting for afters.
She clearly has a dubbed over voice there. I wonder if that was that actress's voice and she just re-recorded her lines, or if they got a completely different actress, because for some reason the voice doesn't match the face with her.
Cream, if you like.
Aye. It's from a can, I suppose. Alright.
It's definitely piquing my interest. I have no fucking idea where this is going. I know there was some other shit going on. Okay, random orgy in a field. I wasn't expecting this film to have a sexual element to it, let alone a field orgy. Calm down over here, Woodstock. What the fuck is going on? This night just got incredibly weird. Why was that woman naked at a gravestone crying? Why were they watering another grave? Why was there a field orgy? That one walk around town at night there left me with so many questions.
On her knee, and she says, do you want to see?
And all the songs are so sexually suggestive.
Willow McGregor, I have the honor to present to you Ash Buchanan.
Come up, Ash Buchanan.
What the fuck? This film is now creeping me out. This was like a PG-12 film, man. They're dealing with some fucking dark themes now. I swear that was like a fucking young man as well. Like, not even a man. Did they select one woman a year to, like, have sex with all the men before she dies or some shit? I have no idea.
Not one of them kneels to another, or to his own kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one of them is respectable.
I didn't realise that was a young Christopher Lee there. Hello, Dracula. Strange monologue as well. He's got to be the cult leader, I'm assuming. Christopher Lee will be the man behind it all, is my prediction. Just a really uncomfortable scene. These cunts are sick.
Where's the school, please?
On the far side of the green.
Thank you.
So is he going to double check there or something? I've no idea what his game plan is now.
And on that hill there was a man, and from that man there was a seed, and from that seed there was a boy, and from that boy there was a man.
What the fuck? These are the weirdest songs I have ever heard in my life. So strange, man. As if he's not made any arrests yet. I'd be like, fucking, you are all instantly under arrest. Get on the ground before I shoot your fucking heads off. I wonder if they coordinated the overlapping there. If it comes out in some nice pattern, I'm not gonna lie, it'll be quite impressive.
Alright then, anybody. That is simple. The phallic symbol. That is correct.
This is so creepy. So they just did a big ceremony around a giant phallic penis. Okay, this couldn't get any stranger.
I have come here from the mainland to investigate the disappearance of a young girl.
If I was him though, I would be instantly getting out of there and calling for backup, because he is one guy on an island full of absolute fruitcakes. It could be like a lynch mob mentality. He might be in some trouble. And what was all that on the board? The toadstone, the hagstone. More culty shit.
Little old beetle goes round and round, always the same way you see, until it ends up right up tight to the nail. Poor old thing.
Cruelty to animals as well. Unfortunately, the least of this island's crimes by the sounds of everything. Fucking hell. So she was real. Okay, I was starting to question it.
Rowan Morrison is a schoolmate of yours, isn't she? And that is her desk, isn't it?
This is a good actor, by the way, who's playing the police officer.
Get on with your reading. It's the rites and rituals of May Day, chapter 5. I won't be long.
Everything they're learning is to do with the fucking weird, like, traditions of this island as well.
She's either dead or she's not dead.
Here, we do not use the word.
What the fuck?
The soul returns to trees, to air, to fire, to water, to animals.
Okay, so when the mum's daughter said about Rowan being a hare, she was telling the truth because they believed that after they killed her, she transferred into the rabbit or whatever, or multiple things.
The building attached to the ground in which the body lies is no longer used for Christian worship.
I'm assuming the whole island is a cult. If they've managed to take over the church, God knows them Christians would hold on to that shit to the death. I thought this movie might be a somewhat above-board cult movie, but they fucking took it there with the grimmest shit ever, like sexualization of kids and shit like that. It's just made the whole thing like a fucking dark experience. I mean, obviously, it does, the way they're doing it does make you interested though, like, what is the inner workings of this shit? How does it all make sense? It has to be some sort of sacrifice back to nature to get good crops. The sort of May festival or whatever it was they were talking about. If you're not indoctrinated by one thing, you're indoctrinated by another.
What tree is that?
That's Rowan.
Who lies there?
Rowan Morrison.
So this is him solved the crime.
Oh, what is it?
The poor wee lassie's needle string.
Oh my god! This is the weirdest shit ever. I used to walk past this movie in like DVD shops and it was a PG or a 12. This shit is a fucking 18. NC-17.
And out he comes. There. Now, that didn't hurt much, did it?
Tasted horrid.
Never mind, darling. It's all over now.
She just put a frog in her mouth. That is some proper old school remedy to a sore throat, surely. He better watch out. They need to storm this island with the military. Like, just skip the police. Just call in the fucking army. Carpet bomb that shit.
Do you have authority?
I don't need it.
I'm afraid you have to get permission from Lord Summerisle.
I take it Lord Summerisle is the Christopher Lee character.
Thank you.
And why are they all eating from tins when they have such good produce in their pictures? Why are they now reduced to tinned food?
Is that her?
Yes, that's her.
He's went from no one saying she existed whatsoever to everybody complicitly admitting they knew her. Why the change all of a sudden? Foreskins. Snake oil. Holy shit. Okay, we've got another new weirdo in the town. Jesus Christ.
Do you know what happened to last year's photograph?
Are they dogs? Fuck this guy. I'd top the counter and fucking break his neck just for that, let alone the foreskins, which he probably removed with his own fucking teeth.
It's difficult to say.
Oh, come on, man. It was only 8 months ago. Sure you remember if it was that girl or not?
Why would it be difficult to say? I'm assuming this happens routinely, if not yearly. There's like a girl sacrificed every year or something. My question is, who was the insider? Who's the one person on the island that actually wrote to the police? At least there's one person on this island that isn't batshit mental. I'm sure we'll find out who the mole is before the end of the movie. Okay, just straight up vaginas, I guess. What in the mother of fuck is going on here? That's got to be where Lord Summerisle lives. If he ain't living in that castle, he's missing out.
Will you please come this way? In there, sir.
Take at least 2 of those rifles off of that wall and make sure they have sufficient ammo for an island's worth of absolute psychopaths. I would seriously be tooling myself up off this guy's wall right now. Big ups to the replica Stonehenge prop there.
It does not refresh me.
Oh, I'm sorry. One should always be open to the regenerative influences.
So did he have that ceremony outside there because he thought it would please the cop as he got there?
We don't commit murder up here. We're a deeply religious people.
Religious?
Now, I was about to denounce this as a Scottish film, but the fact that the leader of it all is English, yeah, that makes sense.
They are naked.
Naturally, it's much too dangerous to jump through the fire with your clothes on.
The fact he seemed so rational there, to him it all makes sense.
You've got fake biology, fake religion. Sir, have these children never heard of Jesus?
Now, me as an atheist, you can't bring up that religious argument because, you know, one man's religion is always another man's cult. I wonder if this film did that ironically or if it was just in a more religious time in Great Britain, because now I believe over 50% of Great Britain is not religious, so...
And what of the true God, to whose glory churches and monasteries have been built on these islands for generations past? Now, sir, what of him?
Now to me it's just like an argument between two cultists.
My grandfather bought this barren island, began to change things. A distinguished Victorian scientist, agronomist, freethinker.
So it was his grandfather that started this weird-ass cult.
You see, his experiments had led him to believe that it was possible to induce here the successful growth of certain new strains of fruit that he had developed.
So there was actually a scientific reason for it at one point. Maybe it was Christopher Lee that corrupted it all then.
Barren Island would burgeon and bring forth fruit in great abundance. What he did, of course, was to develop new cultivars of hardy fruit suited to local conditions.
Does this island have a unique fruit? I haven't seen some weird fruit yet. I've seen a fucking jar of foreskins, but I haven't seen a cool looking tomato.
He brought me out the same way, to reverence the music and the drama and the rituals of the old gods.
Oh, so it was his dad. Okay.
A heathen, conceivably, but not, I hope, an unenlightened one.
So it's just an island full of pagans that worship the Green Man. I don't believe all these rituals were part of the Green Man religion, though, were they?
If I may have your permission to exhume the body of Rowan Morrison.
I was under the impression I'd already given it to you.
To be fair, he did give you permission earlier. That's the one thing you were slipping on. Asking him twice. Gave him that little last laugh, the smug cunt. He really needs to call for backup. At any moment, I'm expecting him to get hit with a shovel and dumped in a grave. Well, she did say that Rowan was now a rabbit. This has actually got me questioning as to whether or not this cult shit actually worked. Did they turn her into a fucking rabbit? Or did they just like burn her to pieces and put a little rabbit in her coffin as a symbolicness of her?
This is a delight.
I found that.
Fucking hell, officer. Just threw a zombie rabbit at Christopher Lee.
I hope you don't think that I can be made a fool of indefinitely. Where is Rowan?
This is just a really strange belief system, obviously, but the inner workings of it sound so absolutely fucking bizarre. But then, if you are not religious like myself, I suppose the same could be said of many religions, so...
I think that you are supposed to be the detective here.
What a fucking cuntish way of saying find it yourself, bitch.
I think Rowan Morrison was murdered under circumstances of pagan barbarity.
Unfortunately, to this day, there is rumours and suspicions of pagan, that whole druid shit around Britain, America, the whole Western world. Apparently, I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but like, the sale of goats increase on a certain day in the United Kingdom due to some fucking ritual goat killing day or some shit. I've probably got the animal and the thing wrong, but I swear I read something like that. Creepy shit. The only thing it's good for is like interesting, creative subject matter like films or something. Hot Fuzz is another great film with cult druidy shit in it. I'd love to write a original short story with cultist shit in it because it's an interesting thing, but in practice, if they do any of this shit, it's fucking horrific. Oh god, now he's gone back into the foreskin shop. That's very good editing for 1973, by the way. I was like, how is he opening a new folder on top of a folder? Oh, it's jump cuts, okay.
There's hardly any produce. Well, that's it, the crop's failed.
Was she killed because of the bad crop, like I thought earlier? Or killed to make the harvest better, and that's why they're all eating tinned stuff? Is she now trying to lure him into her room in musical form during the weird cult child murder movie? Of course. He really needs to get the fuck out of here. Don't tell me he's giving in and fucking going to see her. I thought he was a good man of the Lord and a cop. Unless their belief system is actually real and works, he should just be like, fuck off, you psycho. I do not know how I'm going to edit this with this chick's tits just being everywhere right about now. Surely this must mean that the cult is in some way real though. If like her little weird trancey luring dance has had any sort of effect on him. I mean, look at him. He's sweating against the fucking painting.
Wake up, Sergeant Sleuth.
Did well, Sergeant, did well.
I thought you were going to come and see me last night.
Engaged to be married.
Yeah, you invited him in the strangest ritualistic song form I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some strange ritualistic song forms.
I expect you'll be going back today. You wouldn't want to be around here on May Day. Not the way you feel.
I am terrified for May Day.
A man, animal, or hobby horse who canters at the head of the procession, charging at the girls. A man, woman, the sinister teaser.
So this shit must have been real. I bet it still goes on in some weird little places, May Day and whatever. I didn't even know about this day. Is it a made up day or does it really come from old religions? I'm not sure.
A symbol of the sun. In pagan times, however, these dances were not simply picturesque jigs, they were frenzied rites ending in a sacrifice.
Not gonna lie, that's a cool formation of swords. I'll give them much respect on them figuring out how to keep the swords connected like that while making a cool shape, okay?
Ritually beheaded the Virgin.
Dear God in heaven, even these people can't be that mad.
The librarian's looking at him like, oh, we fucking are!
A priest thus represented, a goddess reborn and guaranteed another successful harvest next year.
It's weird how it all sort of tied together though, because the grandfather went there for scientific reasons to grow unique fruits, but then after that it became about reaping the harvest of those fruits in the following generations, and it turned all culty because they read into old books how to keep the harvest coming and shit. There's an interesting sort of logical reason they're all like this, even though they're fucking mental. What the fuck? He's not getting off this island. I respect their ability to all duck out. They didn't need to put on the weird masks to do that. It was a stylistic choice by the cult, and you have to respect that.
You're obstructing a police officer.
I am not obstructing you, Sergeant.
Oh man, why do I get the feeling that this is going to end badly for him?
I'll just have to find Rowan Morrison myself.
He needs to go back to Christopher Lee's mansion right now and take every working firearm out of there. They don't seem to use the guns, they're all about their ritualistic killing from the descriptions in the books at least. And because it's called the Wicker Man, and we have yet to see any wicker on a man, it must be leading up to the climax now, that explanation. Because, you know, we haven't even heard a mention of the Wicker Man. So is he going to be Trojan horsed into this Wicker Man and set on fire?
Everything under control, over?
I'm alarmed.
This is the strangest shit. I guess any cult or anything that could be classified as a cult that you read about for the first time is intrinsically batshit. Like, this is no more or less batshit than any other cult you've ever heard of in their belief systems if you break them all down.
We shall all reassemble outside the town hall at 3 o'clock sharp.
I wonder where this was filmed as well. Did they go to a Scottish island to film this? I'd be curious to know the filming locations of this movie. If you know, put them in the comments.
A holy sacrifice will be offered up jointly.
For quite a disconnected rural community, Christopher Lee sure knows how to rock that 70s style up there with his fucking bright turtleneck and his haircut. All he needs is some flares and he could be under a disco ball on a dance floor.
But Rowan is not dead. They've got her hidden somewhere.
They?
Now, if you know where she is, I beg you to tell me now before it's too late.
She's not dead.
I am going to search every house in this place during the next few hours. And if anybody, including you, stands in my way, they'll be arrested as accomplices to murder.
I don't think these people at this point are scared of his threats of arrest.
Take those masks off.
This type of horror hits way harder than jump scare horror. It's just an eerie, unnerving movie. Everything is so weird and off-centre, it's like a bad dream.
That's my costume. The Salmon of Knowledge.
Imagine being given the title The Salmon of Knowledge. I'd be like, fuck off. I'm not being the Salmon of Knowledge. Fuck this cult.
Did you find the girl? No, well, I can't say I'm very surprised.
This is the guy I hate the most. For some reason, he's the fucking creepiest one, the landlord. I don't know why. It should be Christopher Lee, obviously, who started this or continued this batshit cult. But, I mean, the real person to blame here is Christopher Lee's dad. Because if you were on an island, before internet, before all of that, no phones to the outside world or anything, and you raise an entire generation to believe something, they're gonna believe it and go along with it.
I'm a way to change. We can't do without punch. You best get in ahead They've given you girls 5 minutes start, haven't they?
They've given the girls a 5-minute start. What the fuck is gonna happen next? That guy got done. It's nice to see this police officer finally take a proactive approach to solving this case. No wonder Nicolas Cage brings out the spinning back kicks if it's based directly on this shit. They all deserve spinning back kick. That is satisfying as fuck. I'd like to think the script just read like, officer punches the crazy woman, and Nicolas Cage was like, I think it would be better if I did a spinning back kick.
Play the fool, that's what you're here for. I suppose you've been getting drunk at your own bar.
So now the cop has to dance along with the cult. Christopher Lee looks like he's having so much fun doing this shit as well. That landlord is not having a good Mayday. Fuck you, mate. That looks like they are fake stones made by a prop department. I wonder if I'm incorrect though, and if there's another place similar to Stonehenge where they filmed this at. They do look like props to me though. A bit too perfectly carved. Oh, they did the sword thing though.
Chop! Chop! Chop!
Oh fuck, are they gonna randomly cut someone's head off?
Chop! 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 Chop!
Because they genuinely look terrified as it's lowered and only look relieved once it's re-raised. Oh my god, they actually fucking did it.
It's Holly.
Oh my god. What if it wasn't someone who had a fake thing stuffed in the top part of the head? Is this gonna be Rowan now?
It's Rowan.
Yes, it is. So why did somebody write? Was it Rowan who wrote herself?
Try and get your way.
Hurry, mister, please! I don't like it here! They're coming! You know what they're going to do?
Oh, I know what they're going to do. Come on, hurry.
Okay, so she's on side. Nice. The 70s chase music kicks in. Also, he didn't need to keep on the outfit. Now he's told her he's a cop. He could have just took the shit off instead of continuing to run around like a weird jester.
I seem to have lost our torch-bearing friends.
I'm sorry.
Now what they gonna do? Fucking swim for it?
Did I do it right?
You did it beautifully!
No, it was all just to lure him here, wasn't it? Fuck.
You came here to find Rowan Morrison. But it is we who have found you and brought you here.
And controlled your every thought and action since you arrived.
No way, so they were never gonna kill the girl, they were luring him here.
The best way of preventing this is to offer to our god of the sun and to the goddess of our orchards the most acceptable sacrifice that lies in our power.
So he is going to be the sacrifice.
Come here of his own free will. A man who has come here with the power of a king. By representing the law. A man who would come here as a virgin.
So he meets all the prerequisites. You little fool virgin. Die. Wow. Yeah, you don't need to take your masks off. We know it's the whole town.
You are the fool, Mr. Harry. Punch.
Ain't no way he's getting bongo off him. Slightly over the top facial expressions there, mate, but it's okay. This is easily the strangest film I have reacted to on this channel.
I believe in the life eternal, as promised to us by our Lord Jesus Christ!
It's so funny how they've done this, like, religion versus cult.
Your crops failed because your strains failed. Fruit is not meant to be grown on these islands, it's against nature!
Your crops fail because you can't fucking grow for shit, okay? Your crops fail because you're shit farmers, just deal with it and let me go. Your crops failed because you've not got any tractors, you fucking weird cunts.
Next year, no one less than the King of Summer Isle himself will do. With the crops fail, Summer Isle. Next year, your people will kill you.
Shit, so I wonder if that was prophetic. That's a good point. Maybe his fate is inevitably death when the crops fail next time.
In the name of God,
not think what you're doing!
This film is so much more creepy than the majority of modern horrors to me. There's nothing scarier than people doing insane things and in their mind thinking it's A, completely sane and B, completely justified. And there he is! Well, at least you guys weren't lying. Me personally, he plays such a small role, I maybe wouldn't have called it The Wicker Man. That's like calling the film The Foreskin Jar. I think if we were going with the main theme, it'd be like Naked Cult Bitches or something. Or, you know, something snappier and less offensive. Cult whores. Friar Tuck there with a fireman's carry. He's now gonna hit him with an F5 into the Wicker Man.
No!
You can't do that to the pigs as well, like okay, kill the human, but don't do it to the animals, let them out. We all like bacon, but no one likes to see it being made.
Hear ye the words of the Lord! Awake, ye heathens!
He likes going into preacher mode in the last half hour of this film, doesn't he? He's just let his religious beliefs overtake him at this point. He should have been thinking logically from the start and just pulled a rifle out of Christopher Lee's manor. He could have used the Wicker Man as a defensive high ground, do you know what I mean? Picked him off one by one with a sniper rifle and shit. So does this film just end with him burning alive right now? Well, at least they didn't kill the kid. At least the child murdering was a lie. Side note, does that mean if the night before when he was being lured by the woman, if he'd have just went and fucked her, they wouldn't have been able to sacrifice him today? What a douche. Trying to drown them out with gospel hymns. I think your screams will do a better job in a few moments, mate. I wish they'd have done the sequel to this film though, where they came after Christopher Lee because another crop had failed. That would have been an interesting story, the guy that was the basis of what everyone else in the place believed now being their enemy. And he's got a lot of guns. I mean, I do want to feel bad for this guy, but he has no one to blame but himself. He should have day one went back to the mainland for backup. That's an epic shot, the head of the Wicker Man collapsing and we see the sun behind it, the thing they're all worshipping. That was amazing. Okay, and that was 1973's The Wicker Man, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, The Wicker Man, what did I think of that? Well, I said it a bazillion times during this, but let's just get it out of the way straight away. So many of the practices portrayed by this cult in this film were just fucking insane, if not genuinely uncomfortable to see. But I guess, like I said, every cult, pound for pound, if you were to read through all their beliefs and practices, it's just batshit insane, really, isn't there? There's very few that you read it and be like, oh, that makes sense. Pretty rational. Doesn't really happen when you're studying the occult and shit like that, so understandably they were all fucking weird, but yeah, just always really unnerving to watch when they're that smiley and truly believe what they're doing is the right thing about the horrific things they're doing. Of course, every extremist who practices a religion is also guilty of this. You see those creepy, widened smiles on the faces of believers sometimes as they talk about their questionable things. I'm not trying to be anti-religion. It's hard to get off the subject of religion when you're dealing with this movie, and I myself am not religious. I'm trying to tread lightly, because I respect anybody that practices and believes in a religion if it doesn't hurt their fellow man and they're living their lives peacefully. So when I mention religion in a negative light, just know that I'm meaning the extremist pockets of it who are literally batshit insane and just so happen to have that religion. But I did find that this film was subtly pitting two extreme things against one another. He seemed like quite an extreme religious man, and he was obviously being pitted against an extremist cult. I liked the actor, he did a great job. I actually had no idea this was set on an island in Scotland and we were going to get a Scottish cop and Basically everything's Scottish except a couple of the actors, Christopher Lee of course. And what drew me to this to begin with is just the premise and the mystery. You know, a cop investigating a lone island with a missing person and slowly uncovering how strange the island is. I knew it was going to go along those lines, but I still always find these sort of things really unique because you're trying constantly to put together the jigsaw in your head. And the more insane elements it throws at you, it makes it harder for you to complete the puzzle. So it just creates so much intrigue for me personally, just trying to put that shit together as to what exactly is going on. I love films like this just because of that. And again, some of my favourite TV shows are just like that. The Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, the Creep Show films are also like that. I love these things with little twist endings where you're trying to figure out piece by piece what exactly is going on, and then by the end you get the full picture and you're like, oh shit. I like to think of myself as quite good at predicting the endings to things, but I genuinely did not see coming that the girl was actually in fact not dead, and it was all a ruse to lure him to the island for him to be the sacrifice. I thought the film may end with him dying, but I had no idea he had been tricked by everybody else up until that point. Even put into the fool's uniform, he was almost attempting to be saved as well. When the landlord's daughter propositioned him the night before, they said they needed a virgin, so if he'd have just went with her that night, they wouldn't have been able to kill him the next day. If he had not elected to wear the fool's garments, they would have not have been able to kill him the next day. So they literally did control his actions step for step in order to make him exactly to their specifications of what they needed for a sacrifice. It was a great bait and switch, and just one that I did not see coming whatsoever. The film started fucking innocently enough and quickly took a turn into surrealist, creepy, nightmare-like stuff. Like, obviously it had all the unnerving children learning about fertility and reproduction and all that creepy shit when he first gets there. They had the night orgy, the naked woman crying on a grave. After day one you were like, okay, these people are fucked. Day two he goes into that shop with all the different organs and all the weird things he starts reading in the book about the sword ceremony. That woman standing next to the grave holding an egg while breastfeeding a baby. Obviously it's all symbolic for fertility and reproduction and seed and all that, but just the way that it was actually done and directed, whoever wrote or directed this must have studied somewhat a level of pagan and occult rituals and shit, because the shit was just too weird to be plucked out of thin air. Even though once upon a time it was plucked out of thin air, you know, to be a ritual to begin with. So someone must have plucked that shit out of thin air, and whoever the fuck they are takes acid. Also, I'm curious as to what stage in his career Christopher Lee was at when he took this role. It seems like a very abstract and not the biggest role. Obviously he is like the big bad, and at the end it's revealed that his plans work perfectly and all the shit that you would like if you were like a big star having to play a villain. But I just found that he wasn't actually in that many scenes, so it wasn't the biggest role. I wonder if this was one of his first movies, or this was one of his first before he started doing his Dracula roles, which got him, you know, very, very popular thanks to the Hammer film series of Dracula. And then he became an absolute legend by the end of his life, making heavy metal albums in his fucking 80s and shit. What a G. I don't know if anyone else knows that, but if you haven't heard it, type in Christopher Lee heavy metal on YouTube. My man was rocking out in his 80s, you know. And also, I just like a simple story. You don't need to overcomplicate everything and make everything 3 hours. Like, just the premise alone is interesting, and how it plays out, slowly revealing the layers of this mystery until you get to the final one, was done brilliantly. And yeah, a man on a mission goes to try and complete his mission. By the time he's uncovered the truth, it's mission failed, but it was all the steps it took along the way that made it interesting. I also must watch this Nicolas Cage remake now. It has piqued my interest as to the changes they made, because it was quite a mainstream movie, The Wicker Man. A lot of this shit just doesn't seem like it could be done in a mainstream movie nowadays. So I'm assuming that's where the honey and the bees and all that shit I've seen in memes comes from. Sounds like they changed the plot slightly. Maybe it's not about harvesting fruit, maybe it's a particular type of honey or something. The bee production was low. They've maybe tied that into modern, you know, bees dying out or something. Who knows how they updated it, but I have to fucking check this shit out now. If not, only to see Nicolas Cage spinning wheel kick a fully grown adult woman. After I've seen him curb stomp a murder robot into a urinal in Willy's Wonderland, I feel like that's the only logical place I can take my Nicolas Cage reactions at this point. Regardless, I don't know if I would call this a great film. It's hard to judge it in the context when it's literally almost 50 years old now. But I will say that it certainly piqued my interest, and I found it interesting to watch, and at points entertaining. And at points really unnerving, because that's what it was trying to do to me. And let me know in the comments if you do want me to see the Nicolas Cage version, because my initial plan was to watch the Nicolas Cage one, but then I thought, no, let me take it back to the source and see where it's all derivative from, so when I do watch the Nick Cage one, I know what the changes they are made. So if it's something you do want me to react to in future, comment down below. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more movie reactions like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop, and share this around to anybody you think might appreciate it or want to watch my channel and any more movies along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to exclusive polls and posts, my blog, you get access to the reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get full-length versions of everything I react to on YouTube. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and the channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.